It's a bunch of crazy stories written by the Brothers Grimm. And now you're gonna learn all about them, listening to the Brothers Grimm.
Students and scholars, friends and relations, welcome back to Season 6 of the Brothers Grimm podcast, a podcast which explores the strange and often brutal world of Grimm's fairy tales, a collection of tales assembled by the Brothers Grimm in the early 1800s in Germany, broadly enjoyed by millions and millions for the last 200 years, including this week's tale, Grimm's story number 76, The Pink. My name is Phil.
And my name is Mike.
Mike, I am delighted to be back recording with you. How was your summer break?
So am I. I don't remember the last we talked, but I went to France with the family.
Okay.
That was nice. The kids went away to camp for like 5 weeks, overlapping much of that. So we got to pretend we were retired and didn't have kids for a while. How was yours?
I brought Jamie to the Jersey Shore for the first time, and he took to the ocean like a stepmom taking to chopping off the head from her stepchild, or like a king who misunderstands the intentions of his loyal wife and instead listens to what I shall loosely call an antagonist. Which is, Mike, do you have a grade for this tale?
Ooh, it's kind of all over the place. I landed on a C. I'm curious what you thought.
I gave it a B, and I'll tell you why. It has a lot of parts we've seen in other stories.
Right.
It did feel a bit slapdash and thrown together, but it did have a somewhat unique plot device and no plot holes. And it actually kind of read fairly well despite itself.
That's fair. I think for me, a lot of it was the repetition from other bits.
There's a lot I'm going to get into on just like other parts of the stories and stuff. But I'm always amazed when a 4-page story kind of goes off the rails and I have to keep trying to read back to figure out what's happening in the story. Like,
wait, who is this?
Where did this come from? But I will say, even though I had to do that in this 4-page story, it did cover its bases. Everything was covered.
Yeah, that's true. It all kind of ties up.
Indeed. But now it is time for you and I to get into the minds of a couple of 19th century German publishing tycoons. So, Mike, without further ado, would you be so kind as to walk us through the plot of Grimm's Story 76, The Pink?
It would be my absolute pleasure. There's a queen. She wants to have a baby. We've been here before. Yeah. But she hasn't had a baby. We've been here before, too. So she prays for one. And an angel comes down and tells her not only is she going to have a son, but he'll have the power of wishing. Anything he wishes for will come true. So she runs off, tells the king. He's excited too. And soon enough, they have a baby boy. Everybody's happy. The queen takes the boy daily to the stream to bathe herself. And one day, idyllically, falls asleep with him in her arms by the riverbank. The wretched old cook, who knows of the baby's power, steals away the baby, cuts up a chicken, sprinkles blood all over the queen's apron, and takes off with the child. And then runs to the king, tells him that the queen allowed their son to be taken away by wild beasts. King's, he sees the blood all over, no baby. He's distraught and furious, orders a tall tower to be built where she will be banished to live for 7 years without food or drink, to die of hunger.
As you do.
A little bit iffy there, but we'll get into that later. God takes pity on her, though, and sends her 2 angels in the shape of doves every day with food for 7 years. Keep her going. Meanwhile, the old cook starts to get nervous about the child's ability to wish. As soon as the kid can speak, he has the child wish for a palace of his own, with servants and all of that. Child does so, and it happens. Cook is now living like royalty. The cook then has him wish for a beautiful girl as a companion, and they play together and love one another, growing up together. He continues to worry, though, and is concerned that the boy might one day wish to go live with his father. So he tells the girl that she must kill the boy and cut out his heart and tongue and bring them to him, lest she be killed herself. She can't bring herself to do it, so she has a deer brought. She butchers the deer instead and has the boy hide under the covers of his bed. Cook comes in, check on her progress. Boy jumps up and demands to know why the cook wants him killed. As a sentence, he wishes the cook to become a poodle with a golden collar that eats flaming coals until fire shoots from its throat.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good new punishment, but
yeah.
We can talk about that later, yeah.
This is creative. And so the cook is indeed transformed, and the boy has coals brought to test it out, and sure enough, the dog eats flaming coals until flames shoot from its throat. You'd think this would be the end, but no. He decides he's going to head for his homeland and asks the girl to come with him. She's hesitant, for it's a land she's never been to, and it's a long journey. So he wishes that she would turn into a pink carnation, and he takes her with him. As he nears his home, he comes across a tower holding his mother. He wishes for a tall ladder, climbs up, and peers down in. He asks if she's still alive, and she responds that she's alive and has just eaten, so she's all good, doesn't recognize her kid. So the kid heads to the castle and has himself announced as a huntsman. The king agrees to take him on, but warns him that no deer have ever been seen in the kingdom, so he's probably shit out of luck. Of course, the kid summons all the hunters of the kingdom and rides out. They find a clearing, and he instructs them to form up in a circle with one open end. They do so. He wishes for deer. 200 deer run into the circle, and the hunters shoot them all dead, load them up on carts, and bring them all back to the castle. The king, of course, is amazed and orders a feast for everyone, venison all round. At the feast, the king requests the huntsman sit near him as he's so clever. The kid tries to refuse as he's just a poor hunter, but the king insists, so the kid relents. During dinner, he wishes a servant would ask the king about his mother, and so shortly after one does inquire about her, the king says she's dead to him for letting their son be torn to pieces by wild animals. At this, the boy jumps up and identifies himself as their son and explains the whole story. He brings forth the poodle and identifies him as the wretched cook, has him eat burning coals, and then turns him back into his human form. The king is outraged and sends the cook to the dungeons. The boy then asks the king if he'd like to see the maiden who had become such a loving companion to him. And when the king agrees, he pulls the flower out of his pocket. He then asks if he wants to see her true form and turns her back into a human. The king is overjoyed, sends servants to fetch his wife from the tower. When she's brought in, however, she refuses to eat and simply says that God provided for her in the tower and will soon bring her sweet release. She lives for 3 more days and then dies, although happily. When she's buried, the 2 angels in the form of doves come and sit on her grave. The king orders the cook to be torn into 4 pieces, but nothing assuages his grief and he soon dies. The boy and the maiden are married. The text says only God knows if they're still together. The end. Where
Mike,
to begin?
Yeah, do you have a moral? I have a simple one. I think I know what the moral is.
I didn't pick a moral out.
Okay. Mine is just be wary of your servants.
Fair.
Which is a very classic moral, seems to be in Grimm and just all over the place. The Bible too, right? Trust nobody. And
it is a pretty common theme.
You never know from whence evil will come.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that bothers me about this is the cook just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, we need an evil person. The cook's a bad guy.
Kind of like as a major antagonist gets taken out pretty quick. That's why I said earlier, I said someone who I will loosely call an antagonist. He sets in motion some of this stuff, but
yeah, doesn't make it too far.
Let's talk about what we've seen before, because that was one of my issues with the story, right? Is that it was a few random major plot points from other stories kind of duct taped together. And I said there, I'll say what I like about it also, but number 1, wanting to kill a kid, but giving the job to a henchman who's a bit of a softie. Doesn't want to kill the kid, but in order to not get in trouble, offers proof of the murder via showing the antagonist a deer heart and tongue, which presumably looks exactly like a human kid heart and tongue. We saw that most famously in Snow White, but a few other tales as well. I think that happened a bunch in all those stories where it's 7 swans or 6 rabbits or 6 crows, or usually birds, right? And then someone has to die, and then they're like, "Oh, well, just show us go get their heart."
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Number 2, boy whose wishes always come true.
I could have sworn we had one a ways back.
We had Cinderella, and Cinderella had the hazel tree. Fisherman and his wife, they had some wishing, although that was going to the fish that grants them wishes, and that was kind of eventually turned into a wishing gone wrong, you know.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of, actually.
That's the one where eventually I think she wishes to be Pope.
Yeah.
She's first like, I wish I was rich, and then I wish I was king, and then I wish I was Pope, and then
I'm
like,
a Pope.
I mean, in addition to everything else, it's like I've seen the old Pope's bed. It's like a twin. The same type we used to have at the University of Massachusetts Amherst.
Which side story, we are going to go tour. 15-year-old is starting to think about colleges. So in October, we're going to actually go for an overnight on Sunday and then a tour on Monday. They have a food science program, which I just found out is the top in the nation.
I mean, a lot of UMass Amherst has, they have some weird programs that are the top in the nation, and it's just it's a gigantic school. It was big even when we were there, and then they added an extra 15,000 students, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would not be sad at all if Mel wanted to go there, but we'll see.
Yeah, just make sure that your wife knows that the kid has gone off to college and then doesn't blame you for the child dying or being murdered. Which reminds me of another story, Our Lady's Child, which was the one where a woodcutter sells his daughter to the Virgin Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Takes her to heaven, but says, do what you will, except don't open that one door over there. But then, then the girl opens the 13th door and gets sent back to Earth. And the Virgin Mary starts stealing her children, that's another thing. And then the daughter that girl gets accused of cannibalism.
Of
I don't know if
course.
you remember that like part where they were
Oh
just,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
all the people are like the king at first. It's like I don't want to believe that she's eating these kids, and they're like, well, yeah, no, we understand that, boss, but like, like there's
You tell
Yeah,
me where
you
the kid
ju-
is going.
and a bunch of others too. I don't know if there's any specific ones that you can remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
corrupt servants. It was the two brothers. So the brother that we follow has this adventure where there's like a dragon that demands a virgin sacrifice, and they're running out of virgins, so it's now the king's daughter.
Oh yeah.
He slays the dragon, and then he's all sleepy, so they take a nap, and the evil sheriff comes along and beheads him. And then the animals put his head back on backwards.
Yeah. Oops. That was, there's just like an extra paragraph.
God, we've read a lot of these.
We have. We read 76 now. But yeah, like I said, I like the wishing power. That's why I kind of bumped this up to a B. Reminded me of that one episode of The Twilight Zone where it was called It's a Good Life, where the kid has the power of wishing, but he was like 8. So he was this weird little god monster of this town. They did a Simpsons Halloween about that too.
Yes, I've seen the Simpsons one.
Right.
I don't think I've seen the original Twilight Zone, but it immediately reminded me of that.
It's funny, like I said, there weren't any real plot holes. Everything just gets wrapped up, and the antagonist is taken care of pretty quickly. The cook has no plan. That's something I also kind of like. Cook's like, I'm going to take this kid, and then when he gets there, he's like, shit, what?
Now what?
I didn't think I'd get this far. What's the next part of the plan? And then it's just like, I hope he doesn't figure it out. That's what I hope. And then presumably the kid at some point goes, I wish I knew what was going on, and then did. It's like,
It's all over. Yeah, like I mean, he has him wish for a castle and servants, which is pretty clever. So then now he's living like royalty instead of an old cranky cook. Doesn't lie to him because he expects the kid to want to know. He kidnaps the kid before the kid can talk. So the kid is not forming memories.
No.
So by the time the kid can talk and it's like, has him wish for the castle and everything, he's like, ooh, what if he wishes to go see his real father? Like, why doesn't he just tell him he's his real father?
Or I wish for the castle. Do that. You got the castle. You got the servants. Wish for a treasure chest that makes ultimate or as much gold as you want. It's always got gold in it or something like that. Some way you can wish it. But then, I would wish the kid. Okay, now kid, here's my next wish. I wish you would go home to your parents and forget all about me.
That's smart.
Rather than I'm going to try and kill this god creature. this creature with the power of I'm like an obstinate little kid with the power of a god. Actually, he's not a kid at that point, is he? But
Yeah, sort of. Referred to as the boy.
The boy.
So when he does tell the girl to kill the kid, she tries to deceive him with the heart and the tongue or whatever.
Yeah.
The deer. And tells the kid to hide under the blankets. And so the kid hides under the blankets, and before she can even present the heart and the tongue, the kid jumps out from under from in the bed, and he's like, "How dare you try to kill me?" Like, there's all this, trying to like all this deception attempt that went nowhere. So for people who are typically tight on detail, it was a little ungrimsy.
It was very ungrimsy. If you go after a god, best not miss.
Yeah,
and the cook misses,
that's a good moral.
Yeah, that's true. So the moral then, best not mix, or you'll be the type of guy that gets turned into a poodle, a rough and tumble fella.
Strangely
hypoallergenic dog.
Strangely specific, a poodle with a golden collar that eats coals.
I looked all over the internet for that. By the way, what is a poodle with a golden collar anything?
Yeah, is this a reference?
I could not find anything. Like a lot of golden collars, and that has happened in Grimm as well. That was it was a brother and sister pair that they run off to the woods for whatever reason, I forget why, but the boy turns into a deer.
Oh yeah.
And I think wears a golden collar.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
I liked the end of the story where the king says, "Oh, my wife was innocent the whole time. I'm sorry, shame how they locked her in a tower for 7 years, but let them be released and free." And then the queen mum dies like 3 days later.
Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good. God took care of me. You can fuck off. It's nice to be reunited with my son, but see ya."
Even if they say she died happy, it still seems that it seemed rough.
Although I got to admit, sometimes the idea of being locked in a tower for 7 years sounds pretty okay. Why did the king expect his wife to take 7 years to starve to death?
I don't think that
the sentence was 7 years.
Although there are a lot of angels giving food out.
Yeah. Is this like the consecutive life sentences thing where it doesn't technically matter but it's just like just to be sure.
Just in case you're one of the people that does live to 250, you know, or no, I mean, 7 is, you know, you like your numbers and that sort of thing. I think that's just a heavenly number, I guess, if you want. But
in that vein, the kid couldn't have been more than 8 when he came back. So we were wondering if he's grown or not. It's probably more likely that the king just went way past the 7 years, didn't care, didn't think about it.
I don't know, girls. How long does it take a girl to die of starvation? What? It can't be more than 7 years, right?
Let's find out.
Very, very good, Your Highness. Yes.
When the kid comes back to the castle, like, why does he declare himself a huntsman and all this? Like, why the pageant? I mean, I know why the pageant, because Grimm.
I have no answers for you there. It was,
We need another page.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that can be my alternate pitch when I get to that part. But why not just roll in and just be like Q from Star Trek and be like, Mon Capitan, I am a god. I wish for this and this and this. And then
go away or I shall taunt you a second time. I like how the kid just turns the girl into a flower with no warning or asking if she wanted. She's like, no, I don't want to go. I'm scared. And he's just like, all right, you're a flower.
Don't worry. I'll put
in my pocket. Speaking of which, were you confused by the title? It's just the pink. And I was like, what the fuck is the pink? It's the flower is referred to as a pink. It turns out that is another word for carnation. I
was confused at first, but then I did look that up. Then I was gonna. I'd written a couple jokes about ladies, you know, and such. But I
would love to work that in.
Now I really was like, oh, it's cheap. I feel like we've done it before, and I was just like, I had meant to say, a pink just means a carnation.
This one does have some history. It's pretty widespread. Okay. It was found in at least 15 European countries. Very similar. There was a Dutch epic poem called Esmerites.
Okay.
Which is a tale of kidnapping, mistaken identity, and concern about romance between classes. Similar, but not exactly the same. But yeah, this was a pretty common one spread around.
This specific one where it's like these sets of tales stuck together with a kid that can wish, or
I think it is more or less the same kind of structure.
Okay.
Of like kid taken away from home, makes a girl,
and he can
then has to kind of come back, prove himself, and then free his mother.
Yeah. So
who of course always gets locked up for eating the baby.
Accidentally. Oh, someone ate that baby. That's all I'm saying. And she was the only one that was in there.
It's not here.
With the Virgin Mary. Well, that doesn't mean you didn't eat him. That actually proves that he might be dead.
My last note, Tales of Teenage
Dirtbaggery.
Okay.
Back in the day, somewhere in the 90s, it was your 21st birthday. There was a large party thrown for you in the basement of a Smith dorm.
That was my 19th birthday. That was the Phil is Pretty in Pink party. Yes.
Yes. Okay. The pink party.
Yeah. So it was the 90s.
I remember Sonic Youth was playing across the street.
Yep.
And there was a bunch of booze. I think. Who was DJing?
It was Rain.
Yes. Yep. And I remember I cut together a mashup of Pink by Aerosmith and Temple of Love, which was our theme song for our little band of misfits. The Temple of Pink mix.
Yeah,
I don't remember much else. I don't remember much else from that night, but it was a good night.
I think Rain played that at Haven once, but yeah, no, that was an incredible night. It was the best birthday I'd ever had, because I had at that point had birthday parties for every single of our friends. I was like Tyler and I especially, but Tyler kind of left for a little while there and then eventually came back to Western Mass. But
yeah,
no, it was a wonderful party. It was the basement of Shannon's dorm. We drank. There was I think 13 or 14 bottles of Absolute vodka.
Yep,
that were gifted to me.
Vodka.
And just so much liquor. I got railed, but it was very fun.
Do you have any more notes?
I don't have any more notes. I do have a pitch.
Ooh.
I've always liked the concept of the Wayward Prince eventually coming home. So I was wondering, can we just do King Henry IV? But we set it in space. But then I thought, actually, I did already do that and released and sold a few copies of a poor novel called When the Ice Breaks. But that was because it was my first novel. And, the first thing you do of anything is usually pretty bad. But that said, when I do revisit that world, we could add a little more to why he's mostly gone. We'll either add one extra page to this to make it better, or I'll just edit my old book And it has nothing to do with this really, but that's just a thought I had. Be able to re-release it.
It works. It works in
novellas. Yep. But okay, I think that about sums up the pink. I don't have anything else, and if you don't have anything else, I'm happy to call it.
So not.
Until the next time in the next tale, sleep tight, dream sweet dreams of pretty flowers, and torturing and murdering anyone who's ever wronged you. As well as the sponsor of this episode, taking a break for a couple of weeks, which then turns into 7, 8, 9 months. Sleep tight.
See you next time. The Brothers Dim podcast is written by the Brothers Dim. Recording engineering is done by Mike, and sound editing and mastering by Phil. Brothers Dim podcasts are copyrighted by the Brothers Dim and available at brothersdim.com, on Blue Sky at Brothers Dim, and wherever you get your podcasts.